I am Professor Srinivas Reddy. I am retired from Kakati University as Professor of Public Administration. The Hawthorne experiments have been conducted by Elton Mayo along with his associates Rothlis, Berger and Dixon. And the results of this are the following. The important experiments conducted at Hawthorne plant were the bank wiring experiment, relay assembly experiment, great illumination experiment. And as a result of these experiments, certain conclusions were drawn by George Elton Mayo and his team of associates. The first of them is that man is as much social as economic, as was pointed out earlier. Therefore, the message here is that human being can be motivated not by mere economic incentives such as hike in wages or material comforts, but by social considerations too. Secondly, it brought out the fact that in every formal organization, there is informal organization. The classical theory has given importance. Sole focus of the classical theory was on the formal organization. Formal organization is the organization that is developed, designed by the official authorities. And Elton Mayo argued that no formal organization ever really functions the way it is crafted to function. Always there are changes in that. And these changes happen because of informal organization. Informal organization is a network of relations that employees develop in the course of their day-to-day working. And informal organization develops on the basis of shared interests, maybe the caste, the community, the gender, the ideological persuasions or the matters of interest. So people come together to discuss and interact on matters of common interest. And when these contacts become regular, it takes a pattern, and what we get is informal organization. Slightly connected with informal organization has a strong hold on the employees' behavior. To understand how the employees are behaving, it's not just enough to understand the authority lines, the hierarchy, unity of command. The classical principles of public administration will not be totally helpful in understanding how an employee really functions. Focuses on behavioral aspects, how an employee actually behaves. Actual behavior is guided by informal considerations also. And in fact, one of the related things is informal communication, which is also called grapevine. As a creeper of the grape spreads quite fast in all directions, the informal communication, which is different from official communication, spreads very fast. And employees take to informal communication more readily than formal communication. Formal communication will be jettisoning, it will be halting, and you do not show much interest in that because of the verbose and the jargon riddenness of the formal communication. The informal communication is spontaneous. It touches your heart and it touches your feelings, and therefore it's more interesting, and you would tend to show much interest in this. So this is another aspect of this. And one more thing is that this theory also says that Elton Mayo talks about a particular phenomena called the Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne effect is the change in behavior of the people when they are under observation. Human behavior is of two types. One, when nobody is observing, your behavior is natural, true to oneself. When you are under observation, your behavior tends to be different. This is what is called as Hawthorne effect. And to substantiate his conclusion about the existence of informal organization, he has introduced to test what is the nature of the worker, true nature of the worker. Is he totally economic, as it was posited by the earlier school, or is he different from that? Is he social, as he started believing? And he started a scheme of incentives for employees. And incentives are those which are given to employees, and it results in variable pay. If you work more, you get more. If you work less, you get less. And therefore, it just tried to test a hypothesis known as a Rabel hypothesis, which was forwarded by the classical thinkers. Human beings were considered to be a disorganized mass of people, each acting in his own individual interest. So everybody would try to maximize individual interest. He will not so much bother about the social interest or community interest. So just he wanted to test this, and he introduced incentive systems in a place of work in one of his experiments. And his experiment proved that incentive system was made a success in the sense that employees took to it and they went on increasing the production. And the production shot up to a point because there was something to gain by everybody, but at some point of time it peaked, it plateaued. Plateauing is, it stood settled at one level. It was neither going up nor going down. So it intrigued him, and he probed deeply into that, and the workers realized that by having an incentive system, there is some kind of likely negative impact to all of them. The negative impact will be if the workers go on incessantly ever increasing production, a time may come that you produce more than what a company can sell. So therefore the aches will fall on extra workers. So it may be that some of the slow workers may be axed, they may be removed from service. So therefore they thought that in the collective interest to save everybody around, so they thought that incentive system is good to the extent that will help us to gain more money, but incentive system should not be taken to its logical conclusion, because if we keep on producing more, we can produce more, but if we keep on producing more, some people would lose jobs. It may be you, me, or anybody. So therefore the feeling of camaraderie surfaced, and they wanted to settle at one particular level. And they developed some informal communication, which I have just mentioned. So somebody who was mentioning this to outside management, they wanted to make it a secret. So they had an understanding amongst themselves that they will keep this to themselves and they will not leak out what they have decided. But they should not produce more, nor they should produce less. So if this information was to be leaked out, the person who leaked out was criticized, heckled as a squealer. If somebody was overdoing, trying to do too fast and produce more, he was criticized as rate buster. If somebody was doing too slow and too slow to defeat the very scheme, the net production after introduction of the scheme should not be below the earlier production level. So there is danger if everybody produces slow. So there may be failure of this experiment and they stand to lose. So therefore the fellow who was working slow workers were nicknamed as chiselers. So chiseling is, you craft a statue by chiseling. So when the nose is chiseled, I think you spend hours and days to craft a sharp nose. It takes, one doesn't know how many days it takes. So therefore that kind of attitude was resisted by the people in general. So therefore group norms were what were important, and this is where Elton Mayo said that group norms are more important than official rules and regulations. One more contribution of George Elton Mayo is that he gave the slogan that happy worker is the most productive worker. The workplace should make the workers happy. By making the worker happy, his production levels will increase. So this is yet another contribution of this. And one more important contribution, and perhaps the more important of the contributions, is that he is considered to be rightly the father of industrial sociology. Elton Mayo said that industry is a social microcosm. It's a reflection of the wider society outside. And therefore, one should be aware of this fact while dealing with industry. So what are all the forces in society, in some way or the other, also influence the working pattern and working relations and working atmosphere of the companies where the workers are working. So therefore, workplace is a social microcosm, and therefore industrial sociology recommends that the sociologists or people should take interest in studying industry, the industrial society's makeup. So what are the people, what are the groups in that, what are the values of the people working, what are the norms of the people working. These things should be understood to gain an understanding into the psychology of the workers, so that workers can be motivated to produce higher levels of production. Well, these are some of the major contributions of George Elton Mayo. And Elton Mayo's contribution is one of the important ones, is that he has shown the way of improving productivity without spending more money. Where the classical theory harped on economic incentives and money as the sole means of motivation. He said that money is not the sole mean of motivation. Workers can be motivated by playing to their social interests, social needs. And in saying this, he take the support of the ventilation therapy, which he did. He went on listening to the workers' problems, and the workers went on narrating what are all the problems they had and how they would like to be treated and all that. Elton Mayo did not do anything because he was a researcher, a consultant from outside. He was not the authority, did not have the line authority to change the organization's functioning and all that. But yet he did not give any impression that he was either changing or not changing, simply went on asking what were their problems, what are their views. And this is what he called as ventilation therapy. So workers went on narrating their feelings, their ideas, their outbursts and all that. He was patiently listening to all of them. And he found that the productivity increased because of that. In one more thing, he established in the Great Illumination experiment, he improved the physical conditions of work. Particularly one parameter of work was light intensity in a relay assembly room, where good lighting was of great help in assembling the telephone pieces. And when the light intensity, he wanted to find out the relationship between two variables, that is intensity of light and productivity. So assume from the classical thinkers that if you improve the light intensity, productivity is more. So he slowly went on increasing the intensity of light, and true to his guess, the productivity went on, and it went up and up. And he tried to test if greater illumination is the reason for greater productivity, lesser illumination should result in decline in productivity. Therefore, he went on reducing gradually the intensity of light. But the productivity levels did not fall. In fact, they were going up. So from this he concluded that it is not the mere economic conditions or the physical conditions that matter, the social conditions, the concern and the importance that was shown. And here in this experiment, workers felt that they were singled out for a major experiment and they have to prove themselves. They have to keep the trust, redeem the trust reposed by the person who is doing experiment, and therefore they went on cooperating and they went on improving the productivity. So whether it was high intensity of light or low intensity of light, in fact the intensity of light was brought down to moonlight level. So moonlight level is one where you can see things but not very clearly. So actually it was very difficult to do such kind of operation, but yet productivity went up, and this was only because of the reason that they had other than economic considerations. So these are some of the experiments and major findings.